Hey, what's up everyone? Shane here with ROA Off-Road. This is another Thursday campfire rant, and we are up in the mountains in the snow. Beautiful, out with the new Explorers by Imperial Outdoors. Tested them out and seeing how well they do in the snow. Enjoying our time out here, and wanted to do a quick fireside rant. So today I want to talk about PDIs. If you don't know what that stands for, it stands for pre-delivery inspection. So if I could give anybody advice, if they were going, like a friend says, hey, I want to go buy a trailer, what's some advice you can give me? I would tell them PDI. Ask the dealer that you're buying it from if they do a PDI, a pre-delivery inspection. You would be shocked to find out that most dealers do not do PDIs. They do not inspect the trailer before it leaves their facility. I've had people, oh my goodness, I have so many stories. This could turn into a 5-hour campfire rant, but I try to keep these under 15 minutes, so I'm not gonna tell you all the stories I have heard. But literally 2 weeks ago, the guy went, bought the trailer, brand spanking new, took it out for the first time and used the water system. And he said when he was done, he tried to drain the water out of the tank. That's what you do. There's a little valve, water didn't come out. And he was like, I wonder why water's not coming out. And so he was telling me that he was just like, had no idea what was going on. Finally, he got it back in the shop for warranty, and they found out that the valve was there, but they actually never threaded the actual valve into the tank. So it was like a fake valve. Like there was a plastic water tank, but there was no hole in the tank where the valve was plugged into. So when you turned it on, no water came out. It was impossible for the water to come out. And I was just sitting there thinking, like, clearly his dealer did not do a PDI, because if they had filled up the water tanks and drained the water tanks, they would have sold that in a PDI. And some PDIs are very fast, some are very thorough. Most of our PDIs intel well over 100 things that we check when we do a PDI here at ROA. Anyway, most of the stuff that we do, it like I said, 100 plus. At one point we had a PDI on one of our product lines that we carried that was pushing 200 things that we had to check and just make sure everything was functioning. Clearly his dealer didn't do a PDI, but think about this for a second. It came from the manufacturer, not tapped. That means the manufacturer did no PDI. It left the factory without getting checked, came to the dealer, it left the dealer without getting checked, and went straight to the owner, and they were the ones that got to do the PDI themselves. They got to do well, it wasn't a pre-delivery inspection, it was an after-delivery inspection. It was an owner delivery inspection. They essentially picked it up and they found all the problems with the trailer, and then they had to take it back and do the warranty work on it, and it's just frustrating. It was frustrating for him. This is a story that I've heard all the time, and it doesn't matter what you buy. I've had people come in not too long ago that went and bought a $300,000 motor coach, and they said the first trip they went out, they put water in it, they turned it on, and almost every faucet was leaking. There was water spraying out under every single sink. So they were just sitting there tightening things. And now let me tell you something. These are houses on wheels, right? They're shaking down the street. So things can come loose and things can leak. That's the maiden voyage. I always say, hey, listen, we do our PDI. We check everything as good as we can. So our manufacturers, I feel like, are much better than most manufacturers. They do like a PDI, and then we get it, and then we do a PDI. It's some of the big manufacturers that are just pumping out thousands a month that really do a bad job. But even some of the smaller manufacturers don't do as good as they should. So my advice, ask them, number one, do they do a PDI? And you're gonna get, well, one of two answers, yes or no. If the answer is no, you can ask why and can you do it? And they'll say, yes, we can do it, but they're gonna charge you, just so you know, and be aware of that, because even the ones that say, yes, I do, they usually charge you too. Once you buy the trailer, whatever the price is, you know, they'll advertise you $20,000, $30,000, but that doesn't include shipping, it doesn't include dock fees, it doesn't include PDI fees. And most PDI fees that I've seen, they can range all over the place from a few $100s all the way up to $1,000+. And sometimes it depends on the unit and the type of product that they're selling. My parents, this was years ago, they went in to buy a trailer from a big dealer, and he walked in, does everything work? And they said, well, we don't know. It was a couple years old. And they're like, well, we don't know. And he's like, well, I want to know if everything works. And they're like, oh, well, you can pay for a PDI and we'll check to see if everything works. And he's like, well, how much is that? And I think the going rate was like $800 for this particular fifth wheel, big trailer, right? And he's like, well, will that fix anything? And they're like, no, that we'll just check it, see if everything's working or not. And if something's not working, it's like a diagnostic fee. We'll tell you this is not working, you have to fix it. And my dad, he's handy, he's a builder. So he's like, oh, I'll just go out and check it myself. And no, you absolutely cannot do that, right? And they ended up buying the trailer. That is so crazy to me. PDI, pre-delivery inspection. Ask the question, do you do it? And if not, get them to do it and pay for it. Listen, I'm not telling, like, I don't think dealers necessarily should do it for free. We do. I mean, we include it in our price. We try to just include as much as we can in our price. We don't like to nickel and dime people on their way out. You know, it's just like, hey, here's the price. And part of that, we do our PDIs, we do our service, there's a lot of things that we do that we just include it, right? It's part of the deal. Lots of places won't do that. They'll charge extra for it, but it's totally worth it. And the places that don't do it, tell them, no, do it. I want you to do it. Either make it part of the deal, part of the negotiation, say, hey, I'll buy this trailer if you do it, throw in a free PDI, or, you know, or just pay for the PDI. It's worthy, it's worth it. And it doesn't matter whether it's used or whether it's brand new. And this is kind of crazy when you think about it, because you are going out to buy a brand new trailer and you say, do a PDI. And you pay them whatever, $500, $2,000 to do a PDI. Like, it's kind of ridiculous and absurd that you have to pay for that because it's a brand new trailer and you expect it to be working. But the thing is, it's all covered under warranty. But technically, sometimes the dealers aren't allowed to warranty their product until, like, the warranty has to be submitted by the customer. It can't always be submitted by the dealer. And that's one of the reasons why some of them don't do PDIs, because otherwise they're repairing things at their cost, and that it can get pretty expensive, right? So a lot of times they'll just try to send it out with the new owner and let the new owner go and find all the problems with the trailer on their maiden voyage, and then the owner has to call in and submit the warranty claim and the process, and the ball starts rolling. I'm not saying that's a good way of doing it. I'm not saying I agree with this. I'm just telling you this is how some things are done, and some manufacturers and some dealers work in the US. It's not all of them, but it's all over the place, right? It's hit and miss, whether people do it, whether they don't do it, whether they charge for it, whether they include it, or whatever it is. It's all over the place. And you should absolutely ask your dealer, whoever you're working with, to do a PDI. That's all there is to it. Ask them to do it. And if it's, and if you don't ask them to do it, and if they don't do it and you take it the way it's sitting and you take it out on your first trip and there's things that are not working or broken that you need to then, you know, fix either yourself or submit it to warranty, don't be upset. Just have the expectation, right? Like, that's okay, right? Things are, nothing in the world is perfect. Even brand new cars you buy, you can drive off the lot and there can be something not perfect working on it. You just take it back and get it under warranty. But just so you know, like, cars, like, the warranty process is so much better with cars. The warranty process with campers and trailers, it's more difficult. It just really is. So you just got to be aware that I'm going to take this and I'm not getting a PDI and they're not checking it. So I'm essentially going to have to go out and check everything and test everything. And if you're a handy person, that's, you know, that's okay. And it's actually really good to learn how to kind of fix certain things on your own, because the reality is, if you're camping and you're off grid and you're in the middle of nowhere and your water, you spring a leak in your water system, I mean, you should kind of learn how to fix some of those PEX fittings and stuff like that. I will tell you, I believe, from, you know, being almost 14, 15 years in the industry and being around camping my whole life, I don't believe anybody does a more thorough PDI than we do. Sometimes it's almost like too much. Like, we sometimes spend a tremendous amount of time on a single trailer, because the main reason why we do it is because, yeah, at the end of the day, I know, like, if you take the trailer out, it kind of reflects more on the manufacturer, but I also believe it reflects on us, right? And I don't want people to go out and have a bad experience the first time they go camping. And there's always something that's going to happen. And so it's like, if we can eliminate as many things as possible, our new customers or our roamers, the people that buy trailers from us, if they can go out and just have a great first camping experience without anything breaking, like that's ideal. And it doesn't always happen. It actually quite frequently doesn't happen, as unfortunately. But to start off right out the gate, to hopefully eliminate some of that frustration and headache right onto your maiden voyages, ask about a PDI. Ask your dealer if they'll do a PDI, and at least give you the list of things, you know, that are wrong with it, and fix it, and be aware, right? So there you have it. Hopefully you learned something. If you're brand new in the industry and you're looking, I'm sure this was useful to you. Make some comments below, and don't forget that if you make comments and it's a good one, we might do a Thursday rant on answering your comments or your questions below. We also are going to start trying to do a live question and answer Campfire rant. I think we're going to do it the first Thursday of every month. And so we're probably going to actually set that for the very first Thursday coming up in February. So maybe stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and have a wonderful day. See you soon.